What up, gamers? I'm Jason, and I'm back with our guest host on Kickstarter Excess or Value. Now, we have covered a game by the, not exactly by this publisher before because they're now back to doing their own thing, but we're going to be talking about Tidal Blades 2. Not really sure you need the 2 in this one. Rise of the Unfolders, as well as the RPG Kickstarter. But before we get into it and talk about the gameplay itself, what you're going to be doing, I'm going to let our hosts introduce themselves.
Hey, everybody, it's Rob and
Anna Marie
from the Meeple Dungeon out here in Kelowna, BC. I am just getting my voice back, so I'm going to be dialing back a little bit for this video. But yeah, you can catch us on Twitter, YouTube, and our own podcast on all the major podcasting sites.
Hey folks, here Ryan back from Bridge City Board Gamers community here in Saskatoon, and just follow me on Twitter at Mista Rau 643 for all of my gaming adventures and what I've been up to lately. And yeah, just hanging out with Rob, Anna Marie, and Jason, talking all things spending money wise.
Yes.
Yes, I wonder if we're all going to be backing this game or how that is going to play out. I mean, you can actually see behind Rob and Anna Marie the original Tidal Blade, so you might have an idea as to where they're leaning already. That one's on my list of games that I do want to play. So also, this is a dungeon crawl, and I think we've got 4 dungeon crawl junkies here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Might have played a couple.
maybe a few.
All right, so we'll let the Pledge Master Ryan bring up the page. We'll take a look as to what we've got in this campaign, and we'll talk about what you're going to be getting in this, well, if you decide to back this game.
All right. So yes, we are going to be doing Tidal Blades
By Druid City Games.
Druid City Games. I've always really enjoyed what Druid City when they were publishing under that brand. What they did, one of our favorite games in our household was the Grim Forest, which was a really neat little card play game. But we're not here to going to talk about that one. We want to talk about Tidal Blades. And this is called Tidal Blades 2
Rise of the Unfolders.
Rise of the Unfolders here. This campaign features 2 standalone games.
Yeah,
So yes,
so
we've got
you've got-
Rise of the Unfolders, a cooperative, narratively rich board game featuring 21 immersive scenarios for over 40 hours of gameplay.
And
What's
And
the other
RPG.
Keep off
thing?
all the prettiness.
Oh, right. The role-playing game
yes,
from Monty Cook Games, and using what is referred to as the Cipher system, which is something I'm not too familiar with, but yeah, a massive 400-page core book. This packed with beautiful art. This 2-in-1 book contains all of the lore about Naviri.
Yep.
Okay. But also everything you need to get started with the Cipher system. And it's standalone. You don't actually, you can play the role-playing game without actually having to play this brand new Tidal Blades adventure.
Yeah.
And so most of us don't play role-playing games, at least currently. So if you want, we're expecting us to go into a deep dive about the role-playing game, the Cipher system. We have not taken a look at that. However, I've bought enough role-playing books in my life. I can definitely do an excess or value analysis as to what you're getting at the price point that it's being offered at. So we'll definitely take a look at it from that perspective, but we're not really going to dive in on that whole system itself.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so where are we going? We're going to go try to find the pledge levels.
scrolling.
Why don't we talk a little bit about the game itself? So why don't we just keep this up here so people will know
Sure.
what you did a great job just explaining it. But if you're wondering how this relates to the original Tidal Blades, from what I understood is that essentially there are different dungeons and things like that on this world. And I'm using dungeons in quotation marks. they talked about this during the original campaign, but that is the first game is the proving ground for these heroes that are going to go off into the dungeons and, save the world or stop the monsters from whatever is going on. So now that you've proven yourself in the races against the others, the best of the best are now going on this cooperative adventure. Each player has their own booklet that you're going to be upgrading as you go through the campaign. What's really interesting, and you can sort of see it on this image here, is that you're going to get scenario books, and the books will all fit together to create the maps. And as you open things up, you'll just be like flipping pages over. I was watching a Board Game Co's video, and he showed that how you approach a dome, and you literally flip the page once you're into the dome. And then, stay right up there, Ryan.
Oh, sorry. Yep.
Because right here, you've got your player board. So what you're going to be doing is you've got cards. You're going to be playing different cards in terms to decide initiative order, moving up or down. You'll be playing cards on your board to activate abilities. And as you fill up columns and rows, you're going to be activating some bigger special abilities as well. And then when you take wounds and things like that, it'll clog up your board and limit what you're able to do. And you have to mark that down. It can potentially affect your character growth long term. So I think that's a good summary as to what you're going to be doing. If you're familiar with the dungeon crawl, you really get the idea. You're going to be using abilities, chucking dice, beating up enemies, and fighting difficult bosses. And there actually is some defense and tanking mechanics to this as well. So if you're familiar with MMORPGs and stuff like that, you might be fighting a boss and you'll be like, okay, I want to go defensive and pull him away from the group and take all the damage. Well, the other people get positioned to use their special abilities and blast him from behind or things like that. Like, we haven't played the game, so some of that's just a little bit of a speculation.
Cool.
It's neat. I heard that, or I was reading that each scenario is based on a different island around Naviri. So one of the different islands of them. And so I thought that was pretty neat. So you get to see, explore more of the world as you go.
And you do not need the original to play this game. So this is really, if you're a co-op dungeon crawl lover, you can pick this one up. You do not need to play the racing, almost like worker placement game. I think Anne-Marie could describe that a little bit better because I haven't played it yet.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. It is a worker placement game. And you're kind of competing in different arenas around the board and taking on different challenges. And like fighting you said, monsters. If you're fighting monsters and you're competing in races and you're doing all these weird things like you said, to prove to be the new Tidal Blade Defender of the Reef, I believe is what they're called. And your whole goal is to become one of the Tidal Blades, and then that leads right into this game where I guess they're getting invaded by some sort of monsters from afar, and you're defending the reef like you plan to do.
So very cool. And Tidal Blades is currently available at retail right now if you do want to pick it up and check it out. So let's let the Pledge Master take over and dive in on the pledge levels. And we can, you can see a lot of the stuff that we were just talking about.
Choosing the heroes, embarking on the missions, fight like a Tidal Blade, explore the city.
The progression.
And the dynamic progression book like you were talking about here. That looks actually really, really, really neat. Yeah, and there we go. And then, so they're calling it Tidal Blades, Rise of, and they're calling this part 2. So the original Tidal Blades is part 1, and then this one's the part 2.
Yeah, it has that same font and on the other box for part 1.
Sounds good. And then this is another one of these Kickstarter pages where you're going to get through a whole bunch of information before you actually get to the pledge level. So you want me to just go off to the side here?
Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at that. And I mean, One thing I think we need to really say, good on Druid City Games, $1 pledge manager access, and look how many backers. They know Kickstarter pissed people off, and they're giving them an option already.
Yep. Thank you. Because that'll be me. That's right. If I go in on this, that's right. My Tim Hortons coffee for the morning is going to go right in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And why don't we just quickly talk about the cipher system, like just the value that we've got right here. So I don't know if anyone else has any D&D books in their house or anything like that.
I just have
Anna Marie and I have next to zero experience with RPG stuff, so we'll take a back seat.
We'll defer.
And all I currently own is just the D&D 5th edition player handbook. That's all I have.
So when you're looking at what you're getting here in terms of the pricing, like $25 for the digital copies is pretty standard. If you're using something like D&D Beyond, that's about what you're going to be paying to unlock those books to your account. Now, D&D Beyond's a whole other thing because you can share with other players. So there's a really cool feature in that regard, but priced perfectly in terms of what you would expect it. I know Renegade Games released the G.I. Joe Power Rangers system, and it was right around that $25, $30 mark for the PDFs of the book. So very much the industry standard. Now, when you're looking at what you're getting for $59, now that does seem, depending on where you're shopping, seemed a little bit on the high side. Now, the only reason for that is that Amazon is notorious about giving ridiculous pricing on RPG books. So if you're trying to compare it to like a 5th edition player's guide, like the Dungeon Master's Guide, it's going to seem a little pricey because Amazon has stupid low pricing. But in terms of what you'd actually pay in a store, that is definitely right on like MSRP, what you should be paying for an RPG book. Now, you may be lucky when it comes out, it'll hit Amazon. You can find it cheap. I lucked out and got the whole Starfinder book, which is very similar to a Tidal Blades. Now, this was probably about like 5 years ago. It was actually really cheap. They screwed up the pricing, so yay me. But they were selling it for about that $60 Canadian, which is definitely under retail. And it's everything you need in one book. So another massive book with a ton of lore in it. So seeing where that book is now and what they're offering, everything is priced just well. Like I'd say that you're not getting anything special with this, but that's fine. It's a book. So everything is just straight up what you're going to get in the market and no concerns there. It's just solid value for what you usually play, but definitely no deal as well.
Yeah, it looks like here they're saying part of this campaign, you're going to get like a XP deck of cards or something like that. Maybe something that kind of goes along with the system here, but cool.
So let's go with what we know, what we play.
Cardboard. Lots of cardboard and plastic.
Get those starting plastics. Right there with those 5 playable heroes. I got to just say that those are the same 5 heroes from the first game, and it's cool because I remember playing as Cayman, and I'm kind of stoked to go through the next game as Cayman. And yeah, that's
spoiler cool. Alert.
Yeah. It says that in the beginning. If you watch the video,
I mean that you plan on getting the game.
Oh yeah. One way or another, it's happening.
Well, the question is, are you going to back it or do you want to get it at retail? And that's what we talk about here at Kickstarter Excess. That's kind of what the show's trying to turn into a little bit more, where we're discussing more about the value of getting it now or just getting it later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So right now we have just the board game. So I'm assuming what they will be close to like a retail type of edition. 89 US, 112 Canadian is what it's going to currently sit at. And that gets you in the copy. And then 4 exclusive Kickstarter promo scenarios.
Right.
So
this pledge does not include any miniatures.
Yeah.
Right.
Because as you can see right here, they look like they are standees.
Yeah.
Which over the course of us doing this show, we've come to really enjoy standees, especially those nice acrylic styles.
Yeah.
The only issue I'm starting to see with this in terms of the pricing is I wish this had acrylic standees at that $89.
Yeah.
Yeah. It seems slightly steep on that.
But you've got the books, and I'm sure the books are not cheap.
No.
Yeah.
And especially since this is Druid City Games / also working with Skybound Games. Like
no, they're no longer Skybound. They're solo on this one. They broke up.
Is that right? Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, there's a big
going back to that.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. But going back to that, they always do these dual layered boards, and dual layer boards, 100% the chef's kiss.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. What a difference they make.
I
And
know
nice
when I get a
wooden
game
trackers.
now, when I get a game now and it doesn't have a dual layer board in it, I'm just like,
Yeah, it's totally. You get that sigh. Yeah.
yes. Yeah. And then we got cards. We got cards upon cards upon cards.
Yeah. Lots of cards.
Yeah.
Well,
The hero sheet.
Here's those hero sheets.
There's the map books.
And then the 2 large square, 1 smaller vertical book, 60 unique pages for it, with containing 21 scenarios featuring their own unique locations.
Those are gorgeous. I love it.
And the maps are intricately detailed.
I love those too. Those secret pages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And the way the vertical book works with the other books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. I really enjoy this system of using the books to create the maps. No shuffling around with the tiles.
Right.
That's just, no, that's old school nowadays. Give us the books.
Unless I got like an app with a beautiful representation, or it's Descent where I'm like going up multiple levels and
Yeah.
Yeah.
jumping up
Yeah.
and down, I'm kind of like getting more and more sold on the book. I mean, I do still have quite a few tile games like Sword and Sorcery, so I'll still play them. But when games come out and they don't have books, I'm like, man, I have to do all this upkeep.
Man, missed opportunities. And the books include a map of the city. Cool. Explore various locations.
In the city, I think kind of like the saying, you can walk around and have some cool stuff happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then here's the scenario. So those are just the map books. And then you've got yourself your scenario book. That's obviously going to give you your text and your adventure, and then probably the rules for each particular scenario. And more than 70 total standees with clear plastic bases. So they went with non-acrylic. These are obviously cardboard.
Yeah.
Standees.
Yeah. It's a shame, but it is what it
That
is.
being said, I gotta say, like, if it's anything like the original Tidal Blades, which I'm assuming it is, the standees were nice.
They were
Like the card, like they were nice. They were good quality. And these ones too, like they're vibrant. They are very nice. So I don't mind that too much.
We're probably playing because that's a lot of cardboard. With
There's a lot of cardboard.
You're getting a lot.
70 of them. Yeah. 70 of them. And then you're getting your dice.
200 tokens.
Lots, but this thing's gonna be heavy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cardboard in here.
A lot of paper. How many trees are in each box?
Yeah, I don't want to know.
Right. Oh my goodness. Enemy health track. There we go. There's that dual layering. And then another 120 like cards upon cards. This thing better have a good storage solution. I'm telling you what.
Yeah.
And the cards are good quality too. Like the last
They were.
Yeah.
The production value in the retail
It's really
version
good.
was high for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And anything that I've had from Druid City Games in the past, like everything has always been like top of the line quality in your cards, in your components. No one's going to be missing it. That I don't see them changing that formula.
Yeah.
Here.
No, yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah. So we went through what comes in the base box for the game. So just so we have a nice breakpoint for everyone who loves our timestamps in the videos. Well, let's talk excess or value of getting this on Kickstarter. And I see a lot of value in terms of what you're getting, but I can't see myself backing the $89 pledge right now. I just don't see the point. There's 4 exclusive promo scenarios. It says there's even more secret content, but the question is that going to be like secret content in terms of unlocks that you're still going to get at retail? Because right now, I don't think I need the 4 promo scenarios to pay whatever shipping and everything is to get this on Kickstarter.
Shipping's the kicker. Hey, holy.
That's been the consistent thing on our discussions lately, has always been revolving around the shipping. At an $89, $112 thing, like this just looks like one of your massive big box campaign style dungeon crawlers, which I think we're going to be accustomed to this price point, around this price point now, probably for a little foreseeable future, at least the next year.
Oh, I would think. Yeah.
I don't think the prices are going back.
No, I don't think so. No.
This is going to be pretty much industry standard. And like I said, these are going to be top quality components.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I see that there's another pledge level. So sorry, at that original, just the board game, we've got 258 backers. And then we've got the board game and upgrades for $109.
So yeah, that's what I was saying is that's why I don't really see the value of that $89 pledge. Now I get why they're doing it, because unlike with Valor and Villainy, they had a lot of success with Tidal Blades as a retail game. So for sure, they're going to be doing this retail run. Like the space game with all the cardboard will be coming into the market and you'll be able to get it. I just don't see the value of getting it now per se, but I don't see any excess. I don't see anything wrong with it. No. I just think that $30 or whatever it's going to be shipping is spent better someplace else rather than getting that $89 game.
Yeah. So $20 more. And what the upgrade is getting you is that you're getting deluxe resources, which includes squishy fruit, which I'm going to get my first hands on some squishy fruit here in a little bit, because the Perseverance Kickstarter is going to be fulfilling really relatively quickly. And they had squishy berry resources in there. Upgraded shells, so miniatures for your heroes. Yeah. And of course the exclusive scenarios. I'm just trying to look, because this next thing on the slide here is the miniatures.
Yeah, and there's
that. Oh, there we go. There's the deluxe resources.
Yeah, you can see the 5 heroes and then the resources right there.
Yeah. So the shells, the fruit, the heroes.
So what do we think about this 109 pledge? And this $1 109 pledge amount actually reminds me of a game that we all backed, and I think at a very similar price point, which was Agamemnon, and also used books. And I think we all got the version with miniatures for the heroes. I don't remember if any of us actually went for the miniature box with Agamemnon.
I did not go for the miniatures box. No.
We went with the miniatures for the heroes or your ship or whatever you were, and standees for everything else.
Yeah, that was also 109. I think this is a lot more where I would hit if I'm, just looking for the game and not the minis. I definitely see the value of having the upgraded heroes, the deluxe resources, just a little bit of an extra to justify the shipping cost. Plus, you're also getting the 4 exclusive scenarios. So it's starting to look like a Kickstarter at this point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is all this stuff seems very appealing. $20 US. That's bang on.
It's actually cheaper than something. I mean, what is like a Simon small box expansion? 35, right? $40?
40, yeah.
Yep. Oh, wait. Oh, sorry. Excuse me.
This is 20. So I think there's a lot of value in this pledge for someone not looking to go full deluxe. And I think this is the sweet spot, personally.
I think it's interesting that there were 250 backers on the $89 and there are 300 backers on the $109 pledge. So not much difference. Like they're pretty.
Oh, but wait.
Oh,
because we've got
there's more.
We've got almost 1,300 junkies out there that want the deluxe board game that gets you Tidal Blades, Rise of the Unfolders, plus the deluxe edition miniature set, which contains these deluxe resources, heroes, and then miniatures for lots of other things like your NPCs and your creatures.
Yeah.
And your like oversized boss monsters.
We have the other, we haven't showed them yet, but there's like the lost Tidal Blades potentially as well.
Yeah.
One of them that's locked at the top there. It looks like one, or maybe it's
Yeah, something like that. So we're jumping it up now from 109 now to 159 US to get this gigantic box of miniatures, because what do we got? The 5 heroes. So we got the regular stuff, then we get the 16 NPCs plus whatever is going to unlock, the 50 creatures, and then the 2 oversized bosses.
So I like the idea of this pledge. However, there's one thing that I think we should do. Normally we talk value of this deluxe pledge, but I think we got to come back to that. I think during our breakdown of what was in the box, we really covered the first 2, but because there's an interesting thing with the add-ons for this. And I think we should definitely just take a look at what the add-ons actually cost.
Yeah. So here's just a couple motion videos of the miniatures.
Yeah.
And then
the extra little bits.
And I like how the miniatures box extends the art of the box itself. That was actually kind of a neat little thing.
It's really cool, but it makes it hard to get rid of the box when you're running out.
Okay, yeah. Then we got here's your exclusive scenarios: Cayman's Revenge, Rob.
Cayman, my guy.
A Panic at the Lamara with like a jet ski guy.
Yeah.
And then more scenarios going to be unlocked a little bit later. I like it how they have the daily reveals. This is a new thing that a lot of Kickstarters are doing nowadays.
Yeah, instead of the stretch goals, which I'm starting to appreciate more and more.
How to play with John Gates Games. Always enjoy his videos.
So we can scroll past all of the
all of this. Look at the advertising. Look at the advertising. Oh, then there's the role-playing game. I guess if you want to know the cipher system, I guess there's a how to play the cipher system right there. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, there's some actual play podcasts that you drove by. So if you want to listen to people playing the game, you can get a good idea.
Yeah, there's a lot about this RPG here.
Yeah, but I love the art and the lore alone might actually get me too.
Oh, there's that XP deck that you get with backing the RPG.
Yeah.
Oh, here's the pledge tiers again.
Yeah.
Get the
you got that 215, which gives you the RPG book. But then here's the add-ons.
Here we go. Add-ons. Okay.
Interesting. Yeah.
Right? We got art print.
I thought the miniature box was there as well.
I think you can get extra miniature boxes. I did see that somewhere.
Yeah, so keep going down a little bit, Ryan.
Whoops, not on that side. I want to go down on this side.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
So this is stuff for the RPG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the stuff.
There it is, the miniature set.
Miniature set for your RPG.
Yeah.
So interesting enough, it's not just for the RPG. It's the same miniatures box. It's $70. So if you do the math, the $89 pledge plus the $70 miniature set is the same thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing that I think bugs me a little bit, is that you're not getting like a little bit of a discount for pledging on the deluxe board game. Whether it was, $149, you're basically just playing market value. So the interesting thing would be to find out, is this miniature set going to be available in retail?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good question.
Because all of a sudden now we're back to there just being 4 Kickstarter exclusive scenarios with like $30 shipping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting, they say.
Yeah, so why don't we can scroll back up and take a look at the other add-ons.
Yeah, because I found those interesting. I mean, the art prints, this art is just awesome. So, nice having that there. That I love how they call it a desk mat. They didn't say play mat because I was thinking about it, and it's like this book or this game is played on the books, and you've got your player boards and that. So I don't really think it's a play mat. It doesn't look like it's specifically for gameplay. It looks like it's just here's a pretty accessory.
Because I originally thought it had something to do with the game, but I don't think that's the case. I think it's just a straight up, you could play Magic on this. You could play whatever with this mat.
Yeah.
Could be wrong, but it doesn't say. Usually on the game, on play mats, they'll have different areas, right? Like this is for your cards and this is for here.
I don't know.
It definitely seems like when you could play Magic with, it's just a nice stitched edge.
Just a nice design.
If you don't have a gaming table, you can throw this on and there you go.
Yeah. And it's slightly, is it slightly larger? I think it's slightly larger than like your standard like card game playing mat.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they're calling it a desk mat. It's 27 inches by 14 inches. So
yeah. I don't know. And it's gorgeous. Like
it is very nice.
You know, I'm tempted to look at that, you know, but I thought it was something to do with the game, but I don't think so.
I don't think so, especially with the books too, right? If you were using tiles or something, it'd have more use than with the books.
Yeah.
But it all depends on what your setup is. Like normally I'm a playmat junkie and I'd probably grab that, but with the game table that we've got, I don't see any value in this. Unfortunately, just for me. It is a beautiful mat with beautiful art though.
Yeah. You're definitely digging the art style and everything like that. Like we all know that this is just excess stuff, but if you are a fan of this art and of this game, like if you're an ultra fan of Tidal Blades, like you're probably going to pick these things up.
Yeah.
Me being an outsider and never played Tidal Blades and really have not any exposure to Tidal Blades before tonight. This stuff is just excess for me, but hey, somebody out there will probably enjoy these. And the price point for that desk mat, you know, that's not terrible.
No,
it's pretty good.
It's super reasonable and it's gorgeous. So
and plus it's got stitched edges,
right?
It does.
Every playmat should have stitched edges.
I know.
Absolutely. So why don't we talk about the excess or value of the deluxe board game? I think we've talked enough about everything else. This is really what we're going to zone in on. Look, if you want the RPG, the price you can see there is $215. That's basically, it's a little cheaper than when you add the 159 plus the like 59. So it's a good price if you want the RPG, but I don't think there's anything much more to add in terms of the excess or value. But the deluxe board game, what do we think about that? What do you feel about that price point?
I think
it's tough. I think that the $200 is probably pretty good for what you're getting, but I don't know if this game requires all that material.
That's what I was gonna say too. I don't know if you need. Those minis look amazing. Like they look awesome. And I was like, I want to paint those. They look really nice, but I don't know if they're necessary for the game. On the original Tidal Blades, the artwork on the cards was so good that I didn't feel like I was missing out because they had like larger cards and like here was your sea monster and it like I didn't feel like I was missing out by not having it on the board. That being said, it wasn't the same type of game. It wasn't a dungeon crawl, but sometimes I think with the dungeon crawls, if you have a mini for every baddie, it can sometimes be, I don't know, a little much, but
it looks to me like most of those scenarios had you and your companion, like maybe 2 or 3 of you, and then maybe 3 or 4 minis additional. Like it looked like somewhere around 7 or 8 minis on any one map. So I don't think it was like it would be overburdened or cumbersome. Right. I just think this is kind of a scenario where if you have the money and you really like that blinging stuff out and getting minis, it's probably worth it.
Yeah.
You know, if you really want that, but I don't think it's necessary. So I think you'll get a similar experience with the middle tier there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's what it's roughly like $1 a mini.
Yeah.
About.
It's about, I think it was $60 for 70 minis or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. The price point is good on like what you're getting, but the real question, like I said, once again, is what's coming to retail? How much is it going to cost in retail? what are we going to be getting as a savings? Otherwise, as you're saying, I think the right price point for a Kickstarter game is probably going to be that 109.
Yes.
Where you get the little bit of the upgrade, but you don't need to go all in on everything. I think that's just presenting the best value overall. That being said, if I do decide to get this, I'd probably go with all the miniatures because, as Anna Marie is pointing out, these are beautiful miniatures. And one of the reasons why we didn't get the minis in Agamonia, any of us, is those were not nice miniatures besides the heroes.
No, yeah. Completely different scenario here.
Yeah, these are really nice. Yeah.
And like I can testify because, like I said, I have Grim Forest, another Druid City game it's quite a bit older at this stage now in terms of board game years. But the miniatures in that game, they're fantastic. I can only imagine that they've probably improved their process since then.
Yeah. The one thing I can say that I wanted, that I was jealous about after I realized that they were an option after we got the retail version, was the upgraded components, the bits, because those in the first game there was berries.
They're peaches, I think, and shells.
Yeah, there was fruit. But they weren't these ones. They're slightly, I think they were orange.
They had a little picture of them in one of the things.
And they just, the components look, they were so squishy and awesome. And so that was the one thing I really wanted, as opposed to our version. And that's offered here in that $109 pledge, is you're getting those squishy and upgraded bits. But yeah, if you want the minis, I'd say that it's worth it if you can afford it, kind of scenario.
Yeah,
I'm in the same boat. I think it's not excessive if you want to go with that $159 pledge level. That's not excessive. I think there is decent value with going with all those the miniatures box. But yeah, we are saying that you're getting a way better value for your gameplay experience going with the 109 above the $89 box. The 258 people that are at the 89, come on, just go back, just $20 more.
Yeah, $20 more, and you
$20
get
more,
a heck of a lot more.
I think those deluxe resources are worth it.
Definitely worth it.
Because who knows? They might even just cancel this pledge right here, and you might just get this pledge.
Yeah, that's right.
I think we've taken a look at the Excess or value. I think what we're really seeing is that everything just looks like it's priced right. We don't see any real super value except for like a little bit more value in that 109 pledge, but really no excess. Everything is just spot on. This is a well-run campaign, and you're paying for what you're getting, and nothing seems to be egregious at this point. So why don't we take a look at where we at? Are we backing Tidal Blades 2?
We currently are. We're sitting at the 109 pledge at the moment, but I'm back and forth between that and getting the minis. I'm not sure. I don't know what you think.
That's the thing is I don't know. I think I'm going to watch more of the gameplay and how it works just to see. I don't know. They are really nice minis.
They are. They are. And this is a game where art and like the actual look of the game is like a big part of what they're trying to do. So like, I feel like it might be an injustice to not get the minis.
But I also feel like if we got the minis, it would have to be a priority to paint them, because I feel like it would detract from the game having a bunch of gray minis on the beautiful game, right? Like,
whereas the standees are all colored and everything. So yeah, I guess it's a juggling act. I'm not fully sure. But actually, at the moment, I might be leaning more towards the minis. But like you said, I think we'd have to prioritize painting them.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And Mista Rau.
Okay. Well, I am falling in love with what I saw here as a campaign adventure style dungeon crawly game. Man, this thing looks so great.
It does.
I have so many. I have
a bright dungeon crawler. I love that.
Yeah. Oh, and I have so many of them right now.
This will have a completely different feel compared to the rest.
Yeah.
It feels like like when you have the original game spread out on your table, everything is that white sand and crystal clear blue. And it looks like you're just in this Hawaiian island.
Yeah.
And it's like compared to going into dungy, dark, bloody dungeons, you know?
Now that I know this thing exists, like this game exists, I might pull my pledge on Agmonia.
Oh.
I'm like this thing looks like beautiful. Not taking away from that other campaign. Like that game looks awesome. Dungeon crawly goodness and stuff like that, but I don't know. I might go with this one rather. I think the family, when Regan gets a little bit older, I think my wife would actually play this one as opposed to like a dark fantasy.
Yeah.
Because I have dark fantasy, so
everywhere.
many of them already. If you turn somewhere and you throw a dart, you can hit a dark fantasy dungeon crawler in this room. For me, I would replace Agmonia with just the 109. I don't really need more miniatures like crowding my shelving space.
Yeah.
They do look fantastic. They do look awesome. I'm never going to paint them.
Yeah.
I would never paint minis because I don't have the patience for it. But
and I think the standees are going to be awesome. Like they'll be really nice.
I don't think you can go wrong. I don't think you can go wrong.
No, like I'm a huge Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion fan. The standees did that game absolute 100% justice.
I agree.
Yep.
And
can you imagine having minis for Gloomhaven?
Which is another Kickstarter that's going to be coming this year. If you haven't heard of that.
No,
I've heard the rumors. Yes.
Yeah, they're going to be bringing the like large battle chest of Gloomhaven miniatures. But if I do end up going with this one, it'll probably be that 109 pledge. Actually, no, it would be the $1 pledge. And pledge manager. I will go in with the 109 with the upgraded bits because, man, those squishy berries just look so good.
They're so worth it. It's the one thing that I really regret.
All right. So I'm going to be going in at the $1 pledge manager access pledge. So I'm going to be following Ryan's lead here and just supporting Kickstarter the least amount possible. But I like everything that I see here. I love the bright colors. I originally backed the deluxe version of the original Tidal Blades. And as we were discussing just off camera, I ended up selling it just because the game was really late. It arrived during the pandemic, and there was just no way that I was going to get this played enough to justify the values what I spent on it. But the one thing that I always said was, I want to play the original Tidal Blades, and hearing about this game was largely what got me to buy the first game. I'm a completionist. I like having everything. I was like, I want to play a game in this world. A cooperative narrative game in this world is something that's going to appeal to myself. It's going to appeal to Julie. It's going to appeal to people that don't usually want to play this type of game. So I'm going to go in on this. I'll definitely be getting the 109 once I can upgrade in the pledge manager afterwards. The question I also have is just, what is the retail release going to look like? I want to find out more on that, but one way or another, like whether I get it now or later, I will be getting a copy of this game because this just hits all the sweet spots for me. And if you follow us on social media, I've got Massive Darkness with like 7 campaigns to play. I have more campaigns to play than I know what to do with. If you count things like Street Masters, Aftershock, and Street Masters, probably got like 50 campaigns. I'll get through them all one day. Might not have any teeth left when I finally finish it. It'll happen.
Yeah.
Or hey, Druid City Games, if you want to support small time content creators, we won't say no.
Yep.
Bring it on here.
We'll definitely preview it. Or I know Ryan and I would love to get a chance to play the original Tidal Blades for sure. But because I've seen it on the shelves at Amazing Stories here in Saskatoon, and I it does catch my eye because it is that bright color that amongst dark boxes.
It is.
And we've had this conversation so many times, or from my end at least, is that with them, like dungeon crawlers, obviously by nature, you're in a dungeon, so it's dark. But it's like, wouldn't it just be nice to have it not like always these like skeletons and demons and monsters, but something nice, like not nice, but you're still fighting sea monsters and stuff, but it's just Like you said, it's vibrant and bright and different feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it gives you the same scratching of the same itch, but just in a much calmer and soothing way.
Yeah.
And I do like the upgrading of your characters with those character booklets.
Yeah,
that seems really cool. I wonder if they would, if there's a later down the line here, I don't know how many days are left in this campaign, if there's like an add-on for like, say, extra character books. Say if you wanted to play this more.
That is a good question. And that was one of the things that I did see in the videos, and I was wondering is like, are we going to mark this all up? Or is this going to be hard to replay? So yeah, that's another reason.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
The $1, just a few more questions that need to be answered, but I'm getting a copy of this.
I was wondering if they were going to be dry erase ones, so you could like
maybe.
The problem is if you fold it, it'll rub. Yeah. So I was just trying to figure out.
Or they'll just have like PDFs on their website that you can just print off more of your more stuff like that.
Or if you're like me, you just print off the PDF and never touch the nice ones.
Yeah, that's me too.
Every time.
Yeah.
All of my Arkham books, all my Arkham horror scenarios, not one pen marking on them. Just go to the website, print them off. Too nice to mark up.
Yeah.
All right.
Damn you, legacy games.
So we have covered Tidal Blades 2, Rise of the Unfolders. So I'm going to let our guests tell you once again where you can find them as we get out of your hair. And then hopefully you want to check out some of the awesome stuff that we actually have in hand to review and talk to you about.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone. Again, it's been Rob and
Anna Marie
from the Meeple Dungeon out here in Kelowna, BC. You can catch us on Twitter, YouTube, and our own podcast on all the major podcasting sites.
And hey, folks, it's been Ryan here from Bridge City Board Gamers community here in Saskatoon. And make sure to follow me at Mista Rau 643 on Twitter. Follow my little gaming adventures. Lately, I've been playing Chronicles of Avel with my little guy, and I'm going to be posting some pictures of that shortly here. And yeah, follow me in all my gaming adventures.
And you know who I am. I'm Jason, host of Dice and Dragons. Once again, thanks to Ryan, Rob, and Anna Marie for joining me on this special episode. We had a lot of fun talking about this. I want to highlight this is only the second game since we started this that all of us have intentions of picking up. Hegemonia, well, I think Ryan might be breaking the streak now since he's over here. So maybe we're still at one. I don't know. Depends on how you want to classify this. I'm still going to keep Hegemonia. I just like that storybook element and the way the map interacts a little too much. So I got room for both. I got time. Teeth haven't fallen out yet. All right. So I'd just like to remind everyone to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that YouTube will let you know when our next video is released. Then also down below in the video description, there's a link to multizone.ca, a great Canadian game store. Click that link. You'll get 10% off your next purchase. And to support the channel, a portion of that purchase is returned to us. So we're looking for the original Tidal Blades. Make sure to check them out. And then popping up in front of us here are going to be links to some of our previously released videos. So you have our most recent release, and then I'll take you back to the entire Kickstarter Excess or Value playlist. We got a lot of good stuff on there. And then I just want to remind everyone to keep playing games.